Hello and welcome back to Jack's Coffee Break. My name is Jack, this is my coffee break. Today we're going to be talking about the Australia DLC. So this is a really interesting one, I think, for the community, just because, it's either sort of a necessity or you hate it. But we will focus on why exactly as we talk about the build parts and, of course, very importantly, the animals. So let's go ahead and get into it. Next one we're going to be looking at is the Australia pack. And this is, for me, pound for pound, my least used pack, period. I'm sure for other people, they need it like I need the Arctic pack. I'm sure that that's probably the case. For me, if you were to delete the build pack side of this and just leave me with like some of the plants and the animals, I probably would have been happier. It's a really good kit for what it needs to be. You get a lot of these metal beams, you get some rusted beams, you get this beautiful custom artwork that was actually like made by an artist and submitted, like there's his signing of it. So you get these really nice images. You get these little shapes and symbols. These are used so that way you can construct your own Aboriginal art signs, which I believe I've got a couple of examples of. Yep. So here's the kangaroo, here's the lizard, here's the koala. So if you really like doing block shape art, this would be a lot of fun for you. We have these interesting barriers right here, which if these were FlexiColor and I could turn them into highway barriers, I would use these all of the time. Unfortunately, because of the fact that they're so specifically this sandstone color, I never use them. So there's a lot of this where I wish that they would go back and add in more FlexiColor. But unfortunately, again, with support basically over, that's really not going to happen. So brief future interjection here. I do feel like I need to mention a couple of extra things about the Australia pack, just for the sake of like clarity here. So first things first, we have not really talked about the bins, benches, and pathing that comes with this pack. The pathing I think is free, but the bins and benches and all that, we haven't really acknowledged, but these are actually pretty cool. I like them a lot. You get all of your different animals on the table, and then these right here, this metal bin, and then this kind of wood and metal bench. I actually love these, and I end up using them in my African zoos of all places. I don't know why, but they fit really, really well. So there's actually some good crossover here if you want to try and use the Australia pack in some of your African zoos. I think it can work pretty nicely. We showed off these before. You also get some nice fences. This is also the only pack that includes rust, as you've probably noticed as we've passed through here. So you get some fun art shapes, and if you need rust for whatever reason, you want that kind of realism, then this is basically your only pack to get it in. Now that being said, some more clarifications. This pack does have some bugs, just some straight up bugs. We will talk about one of them when we get to the koala, but in the building section, I need to highlight specifically these beams right here. So you'll notice that I've got this one in charcoal gray, and then this one in like fluorescent white, and this little set right here is bugged. Like the hexacolors on it are just wrong. Over here you can see the pipes, the circular pipes, and they're actually like, they turn black. The corrugated wall, which I don't know if I showed this off. This is the build kit that you get. It's really nice kind of somewhat, I don't know, rainbowish pale wood that can look really nice. I'd say this is probably one of my more used pieces in the pack, along with this corrugated wall, which I wish that it wasn't a flat texture, but for being a flat texture, they actually pull off the illusion really, really nicely. So that's pretty good. And like I said, that FlexiColor works. But if I go back to these beams, you'll notice that right here in the color editor, I have this set to 00000. Like, this is as dark as it will go. It's just that the entire FlexiColor channel is shifted too far up for whatever reason. I don't know why. And it's a problem that the rest of this pack doesn't have. It's just these. So like I said, this pipe right here, this is also 00000. It is correct. If I go to this pipe right here, let's go ahead and turn it to an actual, like, white. Like, it's still fluorescent. Don't get me wrong. It's still really kind of ice or bright white. But for whatever reason, all of the darks are shifted too high up. Like it won't go into the dark saturated channels. Now let me double check. Will it do like a fluorescent red? No, it won't. It will do this like kind of whitish red. And if the plan was for you to be able to like replicate powder coatings, which is clearly what this is doing, this still ain't doing it. It's still wrong. So I don't know why this glitch exists. We're now gonna hop maps for a moment, so that if it's gonna feel jarring, but it's okay. Okay, so here we are, we're back. We are in a blank Oceania desert map, and I'm specifically in here for good reason. So this map, and I have found basically all of the other maps that are based off it, so that includes the Tanami Roadside Zoo that comes with this DLC pack as part of the campaign scenario. They all have a massive glitch, and it's entirely possible that mine installed wrong. Right, that's possible. I'm really hoping that it is just an issue with my client and this is not an issue across the entire pack. But you'll notice that I started on one end of the map and I am now dragging the flatten to foundation. And what you're probably noticing right now is that we're not having the expected result. Typically when you drag flatten to foundation across a map, nothing happens because the map is flat. That's how it's supposed to be. This map, in particular, is special, but not for any good reason. It's because it's not flat. It's not even a little flat. So we started over there, and we're landing over here, and to give you an idea of how much we are off, let me go ahead and get out a 1, 2, and 4 wall block. So we are about 5.5 meters off of the ground here. So what this tells me is that this map is not level by 1 degree. Which is insane. It's truly insane. Again, I'm really hoping that this is an issue with my client and that I just need to reinstall the pack and that this is not something that is universal. But it does make building on this particular map kind of a pain in the butt, which is unfortunate because it's got a really unique color palette that you're not going to get anywhere else. To show that off real quick. So here's some short grass. Here's some long grass. Here's some soil. That's heavy. Here's some soil light. There's the rock smooth. Here's the rock rough. Sand fine is what we're already working with on the ground. And there's sand coarse. So you get this really interesting selection of different colors. The greens are a little bit lurid, but you know, for the most part, this is a really fun texture set to work with. It's just that unfortunately, all of the Oceania desert maps are just 1 degree off. I don't know why. I don't know why this hasn't been caught in quality control. I don't know if they ever can or will fix it. I don't know if this is something the modding community can fix. I don't know if there is a solution for this other than to just be mindful when you start this zoo. You know, make sure that you do the flatten to foundation check and make sure that your maps are actually level. And again, this could just be a me thing. I'm really hoping it's a me thing. If it's not, this sucks. This sucks real bad. So, yeah, just, you know, if you're gonna buy this pack, this is something to keep your eye out for. You get some nice dried wood pieces. These are actually signs down here, so they've got editable text. We've got all of our different signage for our animals, which they decided to go with this sort of roadside motif. It's fine. It's not what I would want. It's really hard to find a unified signage language for these early packs. Even through here. Like, we've got our dingo, our kangaroo, our koala, our lizard, and then separately we've got this, like, piece of rusted out cut metal for our cassowary that doesn't fit anything else. We've got, like, a roadside billboard. We've got these, like, surfboard panel things that have got our animals on them. We've got, like, these kind of gnarled looking barbed wire fences. So if you really like that kind of Mad Max vibe, if you want, like, the pallets and the whatever this board is called, for your backstage areas, a lot of this would work really nicely for backstage. This can potentially be a really good pack. For the way that I build, I basically don't use this, unfortunately. And there are some really, like, charismatic pieces in here, like this. Like, it's a koala. It's a barbecue koala, like, but it's not, it's a spotlight. It's it's wonderful, whatever the heck it is. And then we've even got this, like, kangaroo that winds up and, like, bounces. There's a ton of really awesome parts in here. I just never have a need for this. And again, this is probably somebody else's favorite pack, you know, for building, for whatever reason. We've got these ferns. They would be good, except that their pop-in is way, way, way too close. I would like to see this level of detail out to, like, right here, and then for the LODs to start removing, but for whatever reason, this is really, really short. We've got the, what are you? Bloodwood trees. I love these. As well as the ghostwood. These are really nice foliage pieces. I use them for, like, kind of ethereal, more haunted areas. We've got these little sedges, which are just nice for ground cover. We've got our eucalyptus, mandatory if you want to have koalas. Shame that the koalas barely climb. And now we get to our animals. So over here we have our cassowary. Again, the textures are just incredible. The animals look so good. I don't know why that's glitching out. It's normally fine. But yeah, overall, really nice textures on the cassowary. There it is standing up. I was hoping he would do that. Next up, let's go look at the koala. So here's our koala. Again, looks pretty good. There are some animation issues with these guys. So even though their climbing rate has been buffed, they rarely ever climb. They, for the most part, live on the ground. And really what would have needed to happen is that if they'd been released later, these guys probably would have been a large exhibit animal. Unfortunately, because that technology didn't exist at the time, we just get these guys as habitat animals, and they're a little bit broken, so that is disappointing, but, you know, it is kind of what it is. It was, you know, technology limitations at the time. Next over, we have the red kangaroo. These guys make really surprisingly good entrance animals, I found. They've got very good size overall. They're fairly easy to keep. They don't require a lot of space. They're surprisingly personable with the guests. It's just a very good animal. And then lastly, we have our dingo. So again, it looks like a wild dog, which is appropriate. A lot of dingoes get mistaken for household dogs, and then it turns out that they're not. Animations are very good. They've got pretty much the standard canine build. As far as their, like, habitat and their requirements. They need a bit of foliage, they need a bit of terrain variation. You know, just minor things like that. They don't need nearly the size of the Arctic wolf, but they're comparable to, like, the timber wolf. So for this pack overall, I think that the reason to buy this pack is absolutely for the animals. For sure it is for the animals. If you're looking for something to build like Mad Max style, you've got everything that you need right here, but that's not something most people build for, you know. It's gonna be a hard call. If you like to build backstage areas, if you like to have sort of a certain realism with the rust and the corrosion and all that kind of stuff, this is probably a good pack for you. For me, I hardly ever use it, quite frankly. I use it almost entirely for, like, the kangaroo and the dingoes occasionally. And then the exhibit animal, who is around here somewhere. somewhere. There it is. Yeah, so here's the eastern blue-tongue skink. Or lizard, I guess they've named it. But yeah, besides the animals, including the exhibit animal, I basically never use this pack. So, not a great use for me. Hopefully you like it though. But I believe that covers everything that you really need to know about the Australia pack. It's definitely one that I have some mixed feelings about, but I know that the community really enjoys it. So if you end up deciding to pick up this pack, I hope you do too. Anyway, stay safe, have fun, and happy building.